New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is in Paris, where, along with President Emmanuel Macron, she will co-host the first-ever summit aimed at tackling online extremism. And known as the Christchurch Call, the meeting was initiated by Ms. Ardern after the Christchurch mosque shootings that killed 51 people. It's expected to call on world leaders and tech companies to commit to eliminate terrorist and extremist content on online platforms. Earlier today, Ms. Ardern met with other leaders taking part in the summit, including a one-on-one meeting with King Abdullah II of Jordan. And she also held a roundtable meeting with tech company representatives, including Wikipedia, Microsoft and Google. And it comes as Facebook says it will crack down on its live streaming feature. The social media giant will now apply a one-strike policy for the use of Facebook Live, with first-time users suspended from using the service for a certain period of time. It says it will broaden the range of offences that will qualify for one-strike suspensions. Now, for more, let's cross over to Elena Casas in Paris right now. Elena, several world leaders, tech leaders, they're going to be part of this Paris summit. What can we expect out of this?
Well, the aim is to create a voluntary code of conduct that social media companies would sign up to try and get them to take online content that's promoting terrorism or that contains terrorist propaganda off their networks more quickly. As you were just saying, Facebook has already announced new moves to suspend people from Facebook Live if they are using it to promote terrorism. And they've announced a $7.5 billion fund to be put towards efforts to get that terrorist content off their network. The problem, though, as critics would say, is that this plan is voluntary, and an analyst I spoke to the other day likened it to hiring a pyromaniac to work as a fireman. That is to say, social media is reliant on the attention economy. It's reliant on capturing eyeballs, and a lot of the content that encourages people to click is dramatic, it is shocking, and it is difficult for Facebook's algorithms, which often make the first choice whether something should be taken down before human eyes get to it, to distinguish between the kind of content that Facebook needs to promote because of its business model and the kind of content that's illegal.
Well, speaking of Facebook and social media, in fact, it has been playing an increased role in spreading extremism and radicalism online, culminating in the Christchurch attacks, which you just alluded to. Why is a joined-up international response like this only happening now?
Governments certainly have been slow to react to the way that terrorist sympathisers have been using networks like Facebook. The Christchurch attack, the way that Facebook Live was used in that, of course, shocked people around the world. But it wasn't the first incidence of Facebook Live being used by terrorists. Here in France, for example, in June 2016, a terrorist sympathiser called La Rossi Abala killed 2 policemen and live-streamed part of the aftermath of that attack, where he was under siege by police, to Facebook. So it's not something that's new, and governments have been slow in trying to regulate Facebook. Many critics, as I was saying, say that this voluntary code of conduct, essentially encouraging social media sites to police themselves, isn't good enough. And both here in France and at the European level in Brussels, there are legal moves underway to force them to take content down and to penalise them with significant fines if they do not.
All right, many thanks for that, Elena Casas, speaking to us from Paris.